What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So today we reacted to what if we nuke a city. I can't pronounce the dude's name that posted the video because it's kind of hard to pronounce and I don't want to butcher his name. But we're gonna get right into this thing in 3, 2, 1. Bow, bow.
Playing around with nuclear weapons in videos is fun. There's a visceral joy in blowing things up and a horrifying fascination with things like fireballs, shockwaves and radiation. And while it does help put our destructive power in perspective, it's not the best way of understanding the real impact of a nuclear explosion. This isn't about city stacks of TNT or about how bright an explosion is. Nuclear weapons are about you. So we've partnered with the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement to explore what would really happen if a nuclear weapon were detonated in a major city today. Not nuclear war, just one explosion. We begin our story in the middle of downtown in a major city. People are going to work, studying for exams, are lost in their thoughts and daily lives. Right here, a nuclear weapon is detonated.
I've seen stuff like this, bro, where people be like, what if you know what I'm saying, like he said, we nuke a city, nigga, what if the sun didn't shine no more, if it was only night, what if it was only day, type shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It makes you think, what if this stuff happened? I don't know if y'all, in the Bible and shit, read the Bible, but just how the world was flooded for 40 days and 40 nights, and then when the world ends again, we're supposed to, go up in fire. It's supposed to be fire now, not a flood, bro.
And time freezes. The first phase of the explosion happens within less than a second. In a millisecond, a ball of plasma hotter than the sun appears and grows in a fireball to more than 2 kilometers across. Within this ball, everyone is just gone. Think of water dripped onto a very hot pan. A sizzle, and then there's nothing. Most buildings, cars, trees, tacky sculptures, and people, all evaporated. First, the flash, an intense tsunami of light, washes over the city in an instant. If you happen to have your head pointed in the direction of the explosion, it renders you blind for a few hours. The heat of this light produces a thermal pulse, so energetic and hot that it just burns everything as far as 13 kilometers from the detonation site. What this means is that everything in an area of 500 square kilometers that is able to burn starts burning. Plastic, wood, fabric, hair, and skin. If you happen to be in reach of the thermal pulse, one moment you're on your way to work, the next moment you're on fire. Now the second phase.
Bro, and that's crazy. You never know when some shit like this gonna happen. Just I think it was yesterday, New Orleans, some building that they was building just collapsed on everybody, bro. You just never know when shit's gonna happen. I think one person killed, a lot of people injured. You know what I'm saying? But it's still you never know what the fuck gonna happen to you, bro. So
it begins. It happens in a few seconds. Most people will now first notice that something is wrong, but it's already too late for hundreds of thousands. The flash is followed by the shockwave. The heat and radiation of the fireball create a bubble of superheated and supercompressed air around it that's now expanding explosively. Faster than the speed of sound, creating winds stronger than hurricanes and tornadoes. Human infrastructure is no match for its power. Most major buildings within a kilometer of the fireball are just ground up down to their base. Only steel-reinforced concrete is able to partially resist the pressure. In the surrounding parks where retirees feed the ducks, trees blackened and smoldering from the heat a second before snap like toothpicks. If you're outside, you get tossed away like a grain of dust in a tornado. The shockwave weakens as it travels outwards, but still about 170.
Bro, and I don't know why people try to run from stuff like this. It's you can't outrun it. You can't outrun a wildfire, especially going across the whole US, bro. You can't outrun it. You can't outrun fucking water. You just can't outrun if the world about to get flooded or something, bro, you can't outrun it. People try to run, bro. I don't know why they try to run a hurricane. You can't outrun a tornado. You can't outrun a hurricane. it's gonna hit you regardless. You can't outrun a nuke. Like, you just can't, bro. Like, I understand you trying to save yourself, but you can't outrun things that's gonna get you regardless. It don't matter how fast you can run, how slow you run. It doesn't matter, bro. You're gonna die.
5 square kilometers of houses collapse like they're made of cards, trapping tens of thousands of people who didn't have any time to react. Gas stations...
I gotta go turn this TV off. I'll be right back. I'm back. I had to go turn my TV off because it was dumb loud. But let's get right back into this thing.
Explode and fires spread throughout the rubble. A mushroom cloud made from the remains of the fireball, dust and ash rises kilometers into the sky in the next few minutes and casts a dark shadow over the ruined city. This violently pulls in fresh air surrounding the city, destroying more buildings and providing an abundance of oxygen. It depends on the city what happens next. If there's enough fuel, fires may turn into a firestorm that burns the rubble, everybody trapped in it, and people trying to flee the devastation. Up to 21 kilometers from the explosion, people just like you rush to their windows to take pictures of the mushroom cloud.
See what I'm saying? People stupid. Instead of trying to save your life, you taking pictures of this shit. Try to make it hit the... Like, I understand people want the internet to see, because sometimes, like, it just says if you nuke a city, not the world. So if you nuke a city, of course they're trying to put it online just so people can see like what's going on in their town, what's going on in their city, what's going on in their neighborhood, bro. I understand that. But bro, get the F on and go get help. Why is you sitting here taking pictures and videos and you about to die? Like, I don't understand. Like, what? People are dumb, bro. Like, people are very stupid. I don't understand why.
Unaware that the shockwave is still coming at them, about to shatter their windows and create a blizzard of sharp glass. The third phase begins in the coming hours and days. We're used to the idea that help will come, no matter the disaster. This time is different. A nuclear explosion is like every natural disaster at once. There are hundreds of thousands or millions of people with serious injuries, lacerations, broken bones, serious burns. In the next few minutes and hours, thousands more will die because of these injuries. Countless people are trapped in collapsed buildings like in earthquakes, or blinded by the flash, deaf from the blast wave, and unable to flee through streets impassable with rubble and debris. They're terrified, confused, and don't know what's happened to them or why. Most likely, many hospitals have been leveled along with all the other buildings, and most medical professionals are either dead or injured along with everyone else. The survivors lucky enough to have been in metro tunnels or standing in the right place to be unburned and unhurt won't have truly escaped harm yet. Depending on the type of weapon, where it explodes, and even the weather, an awful black rain can begin, with radioactive ash and dust descending on the city, covering everything and everyone. The invisible, malicious, silent horror of radiation takes its turn. Every breath carries poison to the lungs of the survivors. Over the coming days, the people who receive the highest doses of radiation exposure will die. There will be no help, not for hours or maybe even days. Civilization doesn't operate when there is a total breakdown of infrastructure. Roads are blocked, train tracks warped, runways cluttered with rubble. No water, no electricity, no communication, no stores to replenish supplies from. Help from surrounding cities will have a hard time entering the disaster zone, and even if they can, the radioactive contamination will make it risky to get too close. After a nuclear attack, you're on your own. So, bit by bit, people emerge from the rubble on foot, contaminated with radioactive fallout, carrying what little they may have left.
Excuse me, thank you if you said bless you, I appreciate it. But I be wondering like how they even know like how to predict. Sorry, I just woke up. But how to predict something like this? Like, what if we nuke a city? Like, how do you predict something like that? What if a tornado hits your city? Like, how do you predict something? Because I've never heard of a city getting nuked before. Like, maybe a battlefield, you know what I'm saying? World War I, II. Shit, we might have a World War III, goddamn. But I be wondering how they, like, predict stuff like this. Like, okay, this will happen if we nuke a city. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just be wondering. Because that shit is, like, low-key genius, you know what I'm saying? Just for people to know, like, this can happen. Like, how you know this shit gonna happen, you feel what I'm saying? But I don't know, bro.
They are slow, in pain, traumatized, and they all need food, water, and medical treatment fast. And the damage done by a nuclear weapon doesn't end when the fires burn out and the smoke clears. The hospitals in the neighboring cities are under-equipped for a disaster of this scale and overwhelmed with tens or hundreds of thousands of patients with serious injuries. In the weeks, months, and years to come, many of those who survived will succumb to cancers like leukemia. The reason no government wants you to think about all this is because there is no serious humanitarian response possible to a nuclear explosion. There's no way to really help the immediate victims of a nuclear attack. This is not a hurricane, wildfire, or earthquake, or nuclear accident. It is all of these things at once, but worse. No nation on Earth is prepared to deal with it.
Hell no.
The world has changed
in the past few years. Bro, we're not prepared to deal with tornadoes. We're not prepared to deal with floods. We're not prepared to deal with flash floods. We're not prepared for none of that shit, bro. It don't matter how small it is. Nobody, no city, town, country, state, whatever is prepared for nothing, bro. We're never prepared. It just happens and we're screwed. You know what I'm saying?
World leaders again explicitly and publicly threatening each other with nuclear weapons. Many experts think the danger of a nuclear strike is higher than it has been in decades. Governments tell their citizens that it's good that we have nuclear weapons, but it's bad when anyone else gets them.
Exactly.
That it's somehow necessary to threaten others with mass destruction to keep us safe. But does this make you feel safe?
Hell no, I ain't safe.
It only takes a small group of people with power to go crazy or rogue, a small misstep or a simple misunderstanding to unleash a catastrophe of unimaginable proportions. Exploding stuff in videos is fun. Exploding things in real life, not so much. There is a solution though, eliminating all nuclear weapons and vowing never to build them again. In 2017, almost 2/3 of all the world's countries, supported by hundreds of civil society organizations and the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, agreed to prohibit and eliminate nuclear weapons. It's not about who has nuclear weapons and who doesn't. The weapons themselves are the problem. They are deeply immoral and an existential threat to all of us. No matter what country you come from, no matter what political side you find yourself on, we need to demand that they disappear forever. This will not happen without pressure. If you want to be part of this pressure, there are things you personally can do too. Visit notonukes.org to learn.
If you like this video, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe, man. This shit is crazy, how people can predict stuff like this, like what will happen and everything like that, bro. Hopefully nothing like this ever happens, you know what I'm saying, especially a nuke. Hopefully the world doesn't flood. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we don't get killed by a wildfire across the world, even though that's what the Bible say is going to happen. But we never know what's going to happen, you know what I'm saying. But I'll see y'all in my next video.